clients struggle with the most in running their businesses. So I work with two different types of people, two different types of business. One, trades businesses, who I'll touch on first. Trades businesses have got the polar opposite problem to us three sat on here, in that they are not insular, they are not on their own. They're in huge communities on social media community groups. So if you go onto a tradesman's group, should I say a tradesperson's group, on social media, we'll go with Facebook as an example. You go into any trades group and there might be 40,000 members. And ego plays such a big part in the construction industry, that all the trades in there have to be right. So it's very strong voices, it's very strong opinions, in that, like, if anybody were to challenge that voice, which is beyond the norm, then they'd be shot down and ridiculed by thousands of people.
Oh, that sounds
So
familiar to our industry.
yeah, when we talk about the industry, I actually hate that phrase, because the industry doesn't actually exist. That's just a group of businesses, right? Now, if we was just to give you an example, like a customer gets a quote off a builder, and the customer asks the builder to break down the quote. There are the odd business that are more than happy to do that. If they ask in a community group like that whether they should or should not, the majority rhetoric would be never break down a quote for a customer. They're trying to chip your price. And when they share that response and that message and they get hammered, they now think that their initial thought was wrong. And I think that's the biggest challenge with builders is, to answer the question, it's got to be like following the ego-driven societal norm in the industry, which needs to change and needs to challenge. Like if I could wave a magic wand across the construction industry, I would change one word that I would change, and that would be transparency. If any builder that issued a quote to a customer were transparent in that process, they would win 10 times more work. But for them to believe that message from me is hard. I have to actually show it them. I have to cold call people in this classroom and show them that it does work, and how you can put your price up and command a premium price if you're transparent in doing so. But they don't believe it. They don't believe it until they actually see it. So that's a really slow process. That's the number one challenge for trades businesses. And the number one challenge for property investors that are working on projects is finding a reliable and transparent builder that's going to work with them to their ideals and to their norms to deliver their project within their financial budget. That's the main ones for them both.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover there, isn't there?
Yeah. With that first example, with the trades then, that fear you mentioned about they think they're going to get undercut, like not undercut, they're going to be pushed down on price if they are transparent. Where does that fear come from then? Why do they think that? Where's that come from?
Again, from industry rhetoric. Like, because people tell people that that's what they're going to do when that happens, if they do that, they just don't do it. And they base the fear on something that's never actually happened to them.
So it may well have just happened to one person ever.
Correct.
And it's just spread like wildfire across the industry. Yeah, again, lots of parallels with the dog world. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's a lot of crossover actually with these industry types. We were talking to Gordon Bircham not too long ago, and martial arts industry as well. All these industries out there, but they're all having the same issues, aren't they? Like, we're breeding toxicity within each of our own industries, and it's something that really needs to stop, because ultimately the end user of any of these products and services, they're the ones that are going to be the ones that are suffering. And certainly in our case, ultimately a good majority of people on our side of it are going, well, I'm in it for the dogs, and we want these dogs to have these amazing lives and keep them out of shelters and rescue centres and everything. Yet we're operating the business side of it so piss poorly that it's just become, it's almost perceived by the public as well as like a hobbyist business. And you can see the crossover certainly in construction, where it's like, oh, I don't trust that builder. Like, even I've had loads of building work done on my property. We've renovated an 1850s cottage, and all the thoughts of everyone was like, oh, be careful what builder you're getting. And I'm like, what do you mean be careful? Like, so already you feel like you've got to go into battle, ready, like just to go and get a quote or something, and then go, oh, it's the same like car sales, isn't it? Like you feel you've got to go in. And certainly from, maybe I'm taking this a step too far here, but certainly as a woman going into a car dealership, and I used to work in automotive as well, but stepping into that realm, similar to the building aspect, I suppose, for women, you're going, oh, I'm not sure how I feel about this. And then from a dog trainer point of view, I've really taken this down the stereotype woman bit here, but as a woman business owner, then trying to act like a business person sometimes just feels a bit odd for a lot of people as well. So I think it's that thought process that we really have to be mindful. Who are we doing our businesses for? It's the customer at the end of the day. And how can we build that? I love that word, that transparency bit. How can we build that transparency bit? And why is it's such a blocker? And even more so, why is it so difficult to overcome?